Have you ever wondered who's into you? Well, today's your lucky day, because you get to pick from one of these 4 groups in order to figure out exactly who's into you right now. Hello all my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa Somuayina and I'd like to welcome you into the fam. So guys, for today's pick a card tarot reading, I've got 4 groups prepared for you that will help us uncover exactly who is into you. So if this is the first time that you're receiving a pick a card tarot reading, allow me to explain how this works. I will introduce you to these 4 different groups momentarily, and what you do is just simply pick whichever group that you feel naturally drawn towards. Don't overthink it, don't put too much pressure on yourself. So let's just all lean back, relax, and have fun figuring out what divine messages that the universe has when it comes to who is into you. So let's get into it, shall we? Group number 1 corresponds to the Daily Crystal Inspiration deck as well as the Black Tourmaline crystal. Group number 2 corresponds to the Divine Feather Messenger deck as well as the Rose Quartz Crystal Sphere. Group number 3 corresponds to the Angel Answers Oracle cards as well as the Aquamarine crystal. And group number 4 corresponds to the Tattoo Tarot deck as well as the Tiger's Eye crystal. But as usual, the timestamps to all 4 of these amazing groups can be found below in the description box. And at the start of all 4 of these readings, we will do a little close-up on the crystal of your choice. So I will now provide you with a little moment of privacy so you can select your group. Feel free to pause the video right here if you need a little more time, and I'll be right back with you to guide you into your predictions. Alright, so by now you've hopefully been able to select one of these 4 groups in order to help uncover who is into you. I will be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Daily Crystal Inspiration Oracle deck. So if this is the group that you chose, please continue watching. And to all of my other beautiful groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Daily Crystal Inspiration Oracle deck in connectivity to the Black Tourmaline crystal. Let's do a quick close-up of the crystal of your choice. So the Black Tourmaline is a highly protective stone. This is a stone that helps kind of keep out any unwanted and negative energies from your life. So you may have felt drawn to this stone because it is beautiful and jet black, but maybe also because you intuitively knew that this was the right stone for you based on its energetic vibration. So let's move into your reading so we can figure out exactly who is into you. So I've got so many ways in which we are going to kind of get into divination. I've got letters in their name, I've got numbers. We're going to do it all, group number 1. So let's get started. First up, we've got the bloodstone. So I can see that the person who is into you is someone who is very active. This is someone who likes to go out and do things. This is an adventurous type of person. And I see here with the bloodstone in connectivity to the Black Tourmaline crystal that this person is definitely, in a sense, a risk taker. They, of course, want to make sure that when they go on adventures that nothing bad happens. So they do take preventative measures, but overall, this is more of a daredevil type of personality who's into you. I see here within the Rado Cross-Eyed that the person who is into you is someone who is pretty confident. They remember their worth no matter what may have happened in past relationships. So they may have had really toxic past relationships that beat them down. However, they still manage to maintain a sense of self and to not allow that to eat away or chew away at their self-confidence. They've also regained a lot of confidence that was once lost back. Next up, we've got the 6 of Swords. Now, within the 6 of Swords, I can see that this person who is into you has gone through quite a few changes when it comes to their mindset. So in the past, they may have been someone who is, for example, more shallow, less disciplined. So they've done a lot of work on themselves to turn into the person who they are today. And they've definitely recovered from difficult situations. They've also kind of recovered from being unable to commit to another person permanently, and now they're in a way more mature headspace in order to potentially move into long-term commitment. Next up, we've got the Chariot. Now, this is a really interesting one. This is a card of the Major Arcana, in case you didn't know, group number one. And the Chariot is a card that shows protective energy. So the type of person who's into you is naturally a protector. And I want you to know here that the astrological correspondence of the Chariot is Cancer. And Cancer is a sign that's ruled by the moon, that's very sensitive, nurturing, and very family oriented. So this person definitely turned from like a party person into a family oriented individual. They've gone through quite a few psychological changes in order to get to where they are today. So this person is maybe into you because they see qualities within you that reflect a future that they desire to have with you, or start with you. So the person who's into you is pretty mature. They know what they want. And I see within the Chariot that they're going for that. They're not waiting around. So your person may want a family, and they're definitely looking for someone to have that long-term future with. They may want to be with someone who understands that they're focused on their business. So they will be with another person who also has things going on for them, who understands what it takes in order to be successful in business or in entrepreneurial ventures. Next up, we've got the Selenite. So in the Selenite, I see that the person who is into you is more of a minimalist as well. So they like things to be clean, easy, as well as comprehensive. Decluttering is definitely a very active part of their life. And I do see here within the Selenite that it's important for them to keep their space clean in order for their head to quote unquote remain clean as well, right? Because whenever you're in an environment that's organized, that's clean, it's a lot easier for you to think clearly and for you to be able to focus. So your person is very much into optimizing their surroundings in order to create a better headspace. So the person who's into you is clean, they're organized. I see here within the Page of Wands reverse that some placements within their birth chart are fire sign placements. Think Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. They are a very passionate and enthusiastic person with the Page of Wands reverse. And I can see here within the Page of Wands that this is a placement that isn't super predominant, if that makes sense. So this isn't their sun, moon, or rising sign, but I do see that they have some other strong fire sign placements within their birth chart. Next up, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Now, within the Wheel of Fortune, we've got growth as well as luck. That's what your person wants. The person who is into you is naturally a pretty lucky and blessed person. So maybe they come from a affluent background and they've just kind of always been able to get through life without too much of a hassle. They've always been in a position of power, so to say. So they're the type of person who also believes in creating their own luck and continuing to lead a life that is on the same type of level that they grew up with. I do want to add some letters in here so we can figure out what your person's name may be who is into you. So we've got the letter R as well as Z. So take this as a little piece of information when it comes to initials, when it comes to letters within their name. So group number one, I want to move further into your reading to figure out even more details about this person who is into you. Maybe we can figure out what their job is, where they live, their age, all of these fun things. So we've got retrograde. Within retrograde, I can see that this is someone who is very much into introspection. I do also want you to know here within retrograde that they're a very rational thinker. So they don't like to make decisions solely based on intuition. They always like to be a little bit rational and plan ahead as well. So they're the type of person who likes adventure but planned adventure. Next up, we've got some runes here that I want to use for you, group number one. So here within this rune, I believe we've got Sowilo or Sowulo, however you'd like to call this. So here within Sowilo, we have this strong energy. We've got this energy of health and success. So your person is someone who is pretty successful and they've been able to become successful because they plan ahead and they take kind of calculated risks, and they plan in a sense that gives longevity. Okay, so they've most likely gone to school for a long time. They have a really good education. Furthermore, here we've got KNAS. So within KNAS, I want you to know that this is a very passionate type of person. This is a creative person who's into you. They're very much inspired by everything around them. So I see that at heart they are an artist, but on the outside they are very successful in a conventional way. So this could be, for example, a doctor, a lawyer. This could be someone who teaches others, right? A teacher, someone who is looked up to in society, someone who has a great standpoint when it comes to that. But at heart, that stuff doesn't really matter to them, group number one. They're the type of person who is more interested in creativity, in their inner workings, rather than what things look like on the outside. Next up, we've got Sagittarius energy. So they're a very expansive thinker, if you will. They always think big. They're unafraid to go for kind of big things and big changes. So we did talk about the Page of Wands and that placement not being super prevalent, but moving further into your reading, it seems as though your guides are trying to tell you that actually fire sign placements may be more important than you thought. Here within Sagittarius, we've got a very optimistic and honest type of person. The person who is into you will tell you that they're into you. And this is someone who also doesn't like to lose time. So they'll tell you pretty early on, if you're dating them, whether they're interested in more or not. But I do also want you to know here that to get to that dating point, they may be a little shy. So this person who is into you is someone who is kind of looking at you from afar right now. But if you give them the green light, you'll see that they definitely take the initiative. Next up, we've got Aquarius. Now, within Aquarius, we've got air sign energy, right? So this person who is into you has Aquarius placements within their birth chart too. And here within Aquarius, I do also see that they're a very kind of original, independent, rebellious type of person. They're never afraid to share. So this person is really generous who's into you. And they are also the type of person who just lets you live, who lets you do the things that you want to do. This is not a controlling person who's into you. This is not someone who wants to know every little detail of what you're doing every single day. They trust you. But I do see here within their Aquarius placement that it is also important for them for that to be reciprocated. They love to pursue their own interests and have their alone time. So I do see here that the person who's into you is very independent. They're a free thinker. They can fend for themselves, right? They've got their ish together when it comes to finances and their life in general. That's one thing that I can see here within Aquarius. So next up, we do have the fact that the ship has sailed. So I do see here within the ship has sailed that your person has given up on past relationships. So they're no longer interested in any exes and any situationships that they had going on before. The person who is into you will let any ships sail that aren't you because they are into you, group number one. So they are not the type of person who sneaks around, who still keeps various doors open to potentially be in other relationships. Once they are committed, they are committed. The ship has sailed for anybody else to come in between you and this person, because being into you, that's a big deal to them. They're not the type of person that will just give anyone attention. That's one thing that I see here so far within your reading. I do also see within Disconnect that they are quite the introvert. They don't like being online all day, so on their phone or on their emails. They kind of like really cherish alone time and time to just recuperate from daily life and just the hustle and bustle that is our existence here on this planet. So they're the type of person who most likely doesn't want to live in a big city forever, and they want to like move to a more simple existence, if that makes any sense. So we'll move a little further in with some numerology for you, group number one, so we can see what other messages that we're receiving. Okay, so we've got the number 4, as well as 3. So I do see here within 4 and 3 that we've got these numbers of stability and communication. In numerology, in case you did not know, the number 3 is a very collaborative number. It shows that this is someone who wants to work with you in order to make this relationship work. The person who is into you isn't afraid to roll up their sleeves, and the number 4 shows this stability. We spoke about the fact that they have this Cancer energy within the Chariot, right? Because the Chariot is naturally ruled by Cancer, and Cancer energy is just that, right? Like the number 4. It is all about stability, the family, home life, and also from an astrological standpoint, the 4th house, which is the house of the home and the family, that is the house that rules Cancer by default. So the number 4 is important when it comes to that. And here within the number 3, if we're talking about the 3rd house, that is the house of communication, of siblings as well. And I want you to know that the 3rd house is all about curiosity too. So this is the type of person who's into you, who's ready for stability, who's ready for a family and home life. And they are most likely into you because they consider you to be wifey or husband type of material, and they like those aspects about you. Now, you may find this person in a place that is not like a going out clubbing type of setting, okay? You're going to find this person in a place that is calm, in a place where there is peace and where you can have good conversation. I see here within the star that they're very hopeful to find someone like you soon. That's why they're into you. They definitely want to start getting into a more serious predicament with someone like yourself, group number 1. And I do see here within the King of Wands that you're going to meet this person or going to be able to have access to this person who's into you in a setting where people are having fun. So outside of work, it could be a party, a wedding, an engagement type of situation. So I do see here within the King of Wands that while like dancing, drinking, having fun, you know, the things that people do these days in order to them enjoy themselves, that's where you'll meet them. And you're going to notice them because they'll have a lot of very confident energy. The King of Wands is the king of fire signs. And we had the Page of Wands and Sagittarius, which is all of this fire sign energy. So look out for someone with strong Sagittarius placement. So don't be shy to ask someone what their sign is, because for you, group number 1, the person who's into you has a strong Sagittarius placement. That may be their zodiac sign. And in the King of Wands, I can see here that they're someone who is very charismatic. They don't mind being bold. They are creative and inspiring. And when they enter a room, heads turn. They don't need to demand respect. They naturally command respect. That's one thing that I can see here when it comes to the person who's into you. But don't be intimidated by them, group number 1, because they're into you, which means that they're like putty in your hands, okay? They will do anything for you and to see you smile. So don't overthink the fact that they're most likely a little bit more authoritarian, a little older, a little more experienced. They're looked up to by society, especially because of their job. We spoke about that here within retrograde. They still have a very creative, cool, fun side to them. And they are the type of person who just overall wants someone who simply gets them and wants someone with whom they can have a peaceful life and existence and potentially start a family with and be with long term. So all of my beautiful souls of group number 1, this is the reading that I received for you, and I really hope that you enjoyed this. Make sure that you leave a little lightning bolt emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that this is the group that you chose. And also, if you're interested in this person actually coming into your life, to manifest them, to put out the right type of intention and vibration. So group 1, I would like to thank you for being here, for spending this divine time and space with me. Know that I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle deck in connectivity to the Rose Quartz Crystal Sphere. Let's do a quick close-up of the crystal of your choice. This is the gorgeous Rose Quartz Crystal Sphere. Now, you may have felt drawn to this stone because of its beautiful external appearance, but maybe also because the stone is actually representative of unconditional love, understanding, and friendship. Let's figure out whom this feather belongs to. I believe this is the canary, actually, group number 2. Yes. So within the canary, I can see that the person who is into you is the type of person who likes to do their own thing. They like to sing their own song, so to say. They're very independent and they are open-minded. So they're the type of person who may be a manager, a CEO, an entrepreneur. It's not like they have an issue with authority, but they like to do things the way they want to do things, not how some random person is telling them to do things. So they have this very independent nature to them, and they may also be a little hard-headed at times. Next up, I believe we've got the white swan. Yes, within the white swan, I can see here that they are a very graceful type of person. So never will you have the impression that they cannot take criticism on board with this person who is into you. They're most likely also more elegantly dressed. They are well kept, if you will. They're the type of person who takes care of themselves and who is pretty attractive. So this person who is into you is definitely a catch, and definitely someone who also knows they're a catch, but they keep it in a very humble type of energetic space. They're not someone who is pompous about it. Next up, we've got the falcon. Now, within the falcon, I can see here that the person who is into you is someone who acts very quickly when there is a great opportunity that lies before them. So when it comes to business or, for example, taking an opportunity in love, once they have found the right one or the situation, they're not going to overthink it. They're not going to spend too much time debating whether this is the right choice. When they know, they know. They don't delay, they take action, they do what they say that they will do. And I definitely see that to some people, this person is kind of intimidating. To some people, this person who is into you is not easy to deal with and can make others feel a little bit shy. Maybe you feel shy right now just even thinking about this person, group number 2, but do know here that they are into you regardless of whether you're a little worried of what you can offer them. Next up, we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Now, as every ace within the tarot, this is a symbol of new beginnings, and I can see here that the person who's into you is starting something new in the earthly realms, as you can see here with the pentacles, which represents coins, right? Which stands for things in the earthly realms. So think money, finances, education, time, health. I see that they're starting something completely new when it comes to this area of their life, and the person who's into you is very much into that personal development type of segment. So they try to live healthily, exercise, they try to meditate and do all of these things in order to increase their life quality. And I do see here with the Ace of Pentacles that they may be starting something really big, something that's kind of unexpected and new when it comes to business. So maybe they're adding on to their business ventures or just switching jobs in general. Next up, we've got the Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands does show me here that there is a little bit of this fear of what's going to happen. And I see that this new business idea is definitely going to be challenging for the person who's into you to execute. So the Six of Wands reversed shows me here that this is a delayed gratification type of thing. So they may, for example, be building a real estate empire where they're trying to get lots of rentals and ensure that they are creating longevity when it comes to financial freedom, but it takes time. There's no instant gratification or instant return on this. I see here within the Two of Cups that this person who is into you is definitely kind of really in love with you, group number 2. There's no other way to say it. They want a romantic relationship that is long-term, that is built on trust and respect, and they're the type of person who is very loyal and is very much like long-term oriented when it comes to relationships. Next up, we've got the Tower. Now, in the Tower, I want you to understand here that this person has been through a lot, romantically speaking. So the person who is into you is definitely very careful when it comes to relationships and getting into new relationships. The person who is into you is definitely very much aware of red flags, and they're definitely also going to try to look out for those red flags right from the start. And in the Fool, this is a major arcana card too. I can see that they just want a fresh beginning. They're okay with the fact that here in the Tower, their past relationship crashed and burned and came to an ending, but now they want to move on a completely fresh note. They don't want to take any of those past toxic patterns or demons with them into a next relationship. I can see that they want to just have a fresh start with someone who gets them, who understands what they're trying to build, and who is on the same page with them. So in the Fool, I can definitely see here that they're completely done with any exes. Next up, we've got Retrograde. So the person who's into you is someone who loves to reflect and is also someone who works in communications. Okay, so they may work in communications that has to do with like supply chain type of issues. They may work in transportation matters, just in things that have to do with communicating and also connecting different products or services in the world. So your person is great when it comes to negotiating business deals. Your person who's into you is very much a kind of charming personality, someone who isn't afraid to be charismatic and to show people how wise that they are while still being very calm and down to earth. Within Juno, I can see here that, again, partnership is something that they crave so much. So this person who's into you is deep down a hopeless romantic, even if you don't always see it externally. The Two of Cups and Juno definitely shows me that they want that type of lovebird partnership where you can't live without one another. Well, you don't want to live without one another. It's not like there are some unhealthy attachment issues that they want to foster, but just relationships that can last a lifetime. That's what they're interested in. Next up, we've got Pallas Athena. So they're someone who is very much in their mental headspace. They're the type of person who needs to be stimulated psychologically speaking. They're not the type of person who is okay with a relationship that is just based on physical attraction or sensual chemistry. Pallas Athena definitely shows me that they're more of a sapiosexual type of personality who is very much drawn to intelligence, who is drawn to people's mindsets and who they are on the inside. A good-looking external facade is just a little cherry on top. That's just a bonus. And in connectivity to the White Swan, do know here that this comes as a shock to a lot of people because the person who is into you is very good looking on the outside. It's like they could have anyone looks wise, but they always choose to be with someone who really turns them on mentally, who really kind of gets their brain thinking and working. Next up, we've got Uranus. So within Uranus, we've got a planet of the unusual, the unexpected, and change. So I see here that this person who is into you loves that you come from such different worlds. So it's like you're almost polar opposites in many different ways, but they love your uniqueness. They love the fact that you are an individual who has this like revolutionary type of standpoint and this very liberal and freedom loving type of mindset. So I do see here within Uranus that they love for a relationship to be a nice change from daily life, a nice change from what they're used to and what they encounter on an average day and during an average week. So they're a very flexible type of person, which leads me to feel as though their sign is also a rather flexible zodiac sign. But let's move a little further into your reading, shall we? We've got the Ace of Pentacles again, just from a different deck. We had the Ace of Pentacles show up for you down here, group number 2 already. right? And we spoke about new beginnings when it comes to businesses. So it looks like they're maybe juggling multiple new ventures at once. And I do see here that they're all about creating lots of different streams of revenue. So business is important and interesting to them. And next up, we've got the King of Swords. So we did talk about their sign, and I want you to know in the King of Swords that they have strong air sign energy. Think Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. The King of Swords is someone who is very intellectual, who is analytical, they're smart, they're intelligent, and they're articulate. So that makes a lot of sense as we spoke about Pallas Athena and thought processes being so important to them, and just mental stimulation being one of the main things that gets them all hot and bothered. So that's what I see within the King of Swords being confirmed by your guides for you. I do also want to add some letters into the reading. So let's see what Spirit has to say when it comes to letters in their names. So we've got the letter R as well as I. Okay, group number 2. Allow this to serve as more of an indication. I do want to add like one more letter in for you. Oh, we've got 2. So we've got L as well as I again. So these are the letters that we've got here when it comes to your person, group number 2. I do also want to add a few more runes for added information. Okay, I love using rules for divination. So here we've got Ingus, which is the rune of common sense, but also growth and fertility. So your person is someone who has a lot of common sense, okay? And they are also the type of person who's ready to create a family unit where everyone can grow and thrive. So even being like in a blended family situation is completely fine for them. Furthermore, here we've got Awaz. So within Awaz, I can see that partnership is important to them. And they also want to travel with the person with whom they'll be with long term. They want to live in lots of different countries and places. They want to experience life together with their person in a very type of worldly way and experiencing a lot of new things. So I also have some dice here. I do want to figure out what type of numerology is important. Wow, we've got the number 80. Oh, wow, we've got 80 twice for you. This is very interesting. So within the number 80, I do see here that when it comes to this person, we were talking about long-term relationships, right? So I do see here that this person tends to see themselves growing very, very old with whomever they're with. This person who is into you is most likely going to be with another person like into their 80s. If you understand here within the 2 80s that showed up, we've got 2 different people, right? 2 pieces, but you're both going to be in this long-term situation should you choose to be with this person who's into you. Furthermore, they're not that much older than you, so when it comes to age, you're not super far apart from this person, but because we did have the King of Swords, I do see kind of authoritarian energy. I see them being mature. I see them knowing what they want, and the king is usually slightly older than you, if not quite a few years older. But within 80 and 80, we already discussed group number 2 that this person is older than you, but not more than 9 years, as you're both going to be within the same decade here as time continues to go on. So group number 2, this is the person that I received for you, the person who is into you right now. I hope that you enjoyed this reading and that you found it insightful. Make sure that you leave a little planet, a little Uranus emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received your reading, that you were in group number 2 and you made it all the way to the end. Thank you for sharing this divine time and space with me. I appreciate you, and I'm sending you so much love, and I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Angel Answers Oracle deck as well as the Aquamarine crystal. Let's do a little close-up, as promised, of your crystal. So this is the gorgeous Aquamarine. You may have felt drawn to this beautiful crystal because of its external appearance, but maybe also because of its energetic vibration of calm and grounded energy, which is especially healing for any of you who have strong fire sign placements. So think Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius placements within your birth chart or your zodiac. So first up, we've got If You Believe. I can see that the person who is into you is definitely someone who believes that the connection with you can work, and they're the type of person who wants to put in the effort for a long-term relationship. They're not playing any games, group number 3. The person who's into you believes that this connection may come to fruition and may eventually work. Next up, we've got the Tower reversed. So in the Tower reverse, I can see that they're ready for a new start. The person who's into you is completely done with their exes, with any type of past relationship situations, and they just want to move on to a future that feels like it is on the right path, that feels like they can truly believe that they'll be with the person they're with for a really long and extensive amount of time. Now, the Ace of Cups kind of confirms this for us, group number 3, as the Ace of Cups is actually a card of the tarot that symbolizes a new romantic beginning, so the start of a new relationship. The Ace of Cups is the beginning of a romantic connection that has a lot of potential, and where the people who are involved in this connection are interested in a mutually beneficial relationship and situation. Let's see what else we've got. We've got No. So one thing that I can see here for your person is that they're the type of human being who isn't afraid to stand up for themselves. So the person who is into you has said no to many opportunities when it comes to relationships because they want to find the right one. They've really been through tough times. They've been through the mud in the past, romantically speaking, and they do not want a repetition of that to take place. So the person who is into you is outspoken. They can be very direct and very real, and for some people that may come off as rude, but to them they just want to be honest and upfront about their feelings. Next up, within the Six of Swords, I do also see that the person who is into you is someone who is into self-development and who has taken a lot of time in order to curate a mindset that helps them in their career, but also their personal life. The Six of Swords shows us here that they are all about kind of recovering from any type of toxic patterns that they may have been given from parents, from their ancestors, because I think we all have some bad habits that we either grew up with or developed over time, or we kind of saw our friends, family, or siblings do it. And the Six of Swords shows me here that your person is someone who's dedicated to overcoming any of those habits and challenges that are within their existence. Next up, we've got the Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups shows me that they have been single for a long time. So the person who is interested in you is someone who has not been in a relationship in a while, and as I already mentioned, the last one was not the greatest situation. So the Four of Cups definitely shows that the person who's into you may be a little bit shy and also afraid to get into a next connection, group number 3, because of what happened to them in the past, and of course them wanting to avoid being hurt again or being in a predicament where they feel as though they're being used and the person who they're with doesn't quite appreciate all of the effort that they're putting into the connection. But I see here within the star that nevertheless the person who's into you is really hopeful to be able to establish a connection with you in particular and to have a future that brings longevity with you specifically, group number 3. So the star does show here that nevertheless they haven't allowed for their past experiences to harden them or to make them calloused. They still have a soft, squishy heart once you get past the a little more strong exterior facade, and they are definitely the type of person who always has like a positive outlook, who always believes that good can come and will come. I see here within the Five of Pentacles that when it comes to their finances, they're definitely in a place where their job and their financial situation is something that they're worried about. They are worried about making the right decisions for the long term. So the person who is into you wants to also see that you are smart when it comes to financial decisions. The person who's into you does not want to lead a life where they constantly need to overthink costs and how to invest in situations, how to have the best money mindset and practices. So this is really a deal breaker for the person who's into you. I see here within the Sun, which is actually one of the best cards of the tarot, genuinely, group number 3, that regardless of being single or in a relationship, they are full of vitality. They're always excited for life. They're happy with themselves now. Like, they don't need to be in a relationship to feel happy or to feel excited. Like, they have learned from their past situation that a relationship is never going to fill a void that has already been there for a while. Being in a relationship isn't going to cure all of the mental types of demons that you may have had and situations that you're going through. I see here within the Strength card that they have developed this strong inner kind of strength that comes from a place of really knowing yourself, of really accepting and loving yourself, and of true confidence. They don't need to exert physical power or any type of emotional blackmail or something like that over other people or situations. They're really strong and secure in who they are as a person, and their strength radiates from the inside out. So they may have a very kind of dominant energy to them, an energy of strength where you just know that this person knows exactly what they want and who they are and not to mess with them. So they're most likely a little bit intimidating too. Next up, we've got the Moon within your reading, group number 3. So the Moon shows me that they're super connected to their divine feminine side as well. They are very much emotionally on a level that they understand why they go through certain things, and they have learned themselves, their own emotions, and they know how to communicate their feelings. So the person who is into you is definitely someone who is big on feelings and emotions and communication, and also being real about it. They know when people are up to things. Their intuition is really strong, and I do see within the Moon, Strength, and the Sun that they most likely also have psychic abilities to some extent. So do be cautious with this person if you ever feel the urge or the need to tell a half-truth, group number 3, because they will immediately know. Next up, within the Eight of Pentacles, I do also see here that they are very much working on their career. They want to build something. I see that the person who is into you is not into like cheap thrills or short-term gratification. They want that delayed long-term gratification within their life. So they need a partner in crime who wants to do the same thing. And if that is exactly your mindset, group number 3, then you know why they're into you. But do also know here within the Sun that a main reason why they're into you is because they really love the type of energy that you bring with you. They really like the type of vibe that you have just naturally, that you possess, and the type of like frequency that you're on whenever you enter a room. I see here within the conjunction, which is actually at 0 degrees, that we have this kind of powerful emphasis on growth. Your person really, really wants to build something. Your person here that's into you really wants like an alliance. They want to find a confidant. They don't just want someone to be intimate with or to say that they're in a relationship. They want someone who's like a best friend. The person who's into you wants a real commitment. That's what I see here so far within your reading. Now, the 7th house is the house of relationships. It's really like your guides and your angels are here with us right now, group number 3, because the fact that the 7th house showed up, which is the house of partnerships, relationships, and also marriage, and we just spoke about the person who's into you wanting commitment, Here we have it. In the 7th house, it's crystal clear. The type of commitment that they want is marriage. The type of commitment that they want is signing your name on the dotted line, is being together legally, romantically, spiritually, and just a connection that is meant to last, where no compromises are made and you're kind of displaying to the external world that this is who you're with. This is the decision that you made for yourself, romantically speaking, hopefully for eternity. When it comes to letters within their name, we've got O as well as I. So allow this to be an indication of your person. I do also want to add some runes into your reading because this is a really great way of divination, and I just love crystal runes because they bring so much great energy and added clarity into readings. So here within this rune, I believe we've got Othala. Othala is the rune that corresponds to goddess energy, but it is also a rune of like the home, having plenty, and overall being stable. So I see that your person is working really hard because that's what they want. They want to create stability in the long term. They want to build a legacy, an empire. It is important for them to have a stable home life. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, we've got Isa, I believe, here. So Isa is the rune that corresponds to ice, but also a type of standstill. So I can see here that your person is the type of person who will say no and kind of like not budge when something isn't right, which is also why they've been single for such a long time. So the person who's into you would rather be alone than be in a relationship where they feel like things just aren't right and where they feel as though you're just not on the same wavelength, or you're just kind of not building the same type of future together. I also want to add a little bit of numerology into your reading by using some dice, group number 3. I hope that you like all these different things that we have going on within your reading and that it's fun and therapeutic for you. So first up, we've got the number 5 here. So within the number 5, we've got a number that is competitive. So your person is definitely someone who wants to stand out from the crowd. They're very competitive when it comes to their job, and they will also be competitive when trying to be with you. So the person who's into you is going to fight for your attention and is going to fight to be in a relationship with you. Next up, we've got the number 6. Now, the number 6 is a very harmonious number. This is a number that is all about that type of family-oriented vibe and family feel. So I do see here that they believe that this is what they will have for the next couple years, or what's coming up within their life. And they are into you. They're into exploring what can be built with you, but they're also the type of person where if something doesn't work out, they will tell you and they won't kind of move further down the line into a relationship or into a marriage. They're very much intuitively tuned to listen to their gut feeling and also the divine feminine energy that guides them to healthy relationships and relationships with longevity. So your person will never look over red flags just out of desperation. They don't need that. Then they'd rather be alone. So group number 3, this is the person who's into you. I hope that you enjoyed this reading and that you found it fun and insightful. Leave a little sun emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you chose group number 3, that you enjoyed it, and that you made it all the way to the end. I can't thank you enough for sharing this magical time and space with me. If there's one thing that I try to accomplish with my readings is for you to feel lighter and more energized and overall in a better headspace by the time you're done with your predictions. And I hope I was able to provide you with those feelings, group number 3. So thank you for being here, and I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Tattoo Tarot in connectivity to the Tiger's Eye crystal. Let's first do a close-up on the crystal of your choice. This is the stunning Tiger's Eye. I will leave a link to the stone below in the description box. This is a stone that helps bring out your instinct and is also very grounding. So you may have felt drawn to the stone because of its physical appearance, but maybe also because you just knew that its energy and vibration was for you. So So this is definitely the type of stone you'd want in your life, in your home, around your neck. Group number 4, the tiger's eye is an amazing choice. So let's get into your reading to figure out exactly who's into you. So if you're wondering just as much as I am, we're about to find out. We've got the Ace of Coins. So just as with every ace in the tarot, the ace represents a new beginning, new fertile grounds upon which something can be built. So I see that the person who is into you is someone who is currently in the process of developing something. Now, the suit of coins corresponds to all things that have to do with the earthly realms. So think a new routine when it comes to working out and taking care of themselves, leveling up, glowing up. But there is also a financial and material aspect to it. So the person who's into you is maybe building some sort of legacy, some sort of thing for themselves that will generate income for them, or that is going to change their professional career for the better. So the Ace of Coins definitely shows me a very entrepreneurial leadership type of spirit in this person who's into you. Next up, we've got the Eight of Cups. They've let go of relationships that don't serve them. Your person is very straightforward. The person who's into you has walked away from several relationships, or relationships where they have attempted to make things work, and they don't regret it. I do see here within the Eight of Cups that they're kind of savage in that way, that when someone betrays them or does something that just really goes below the belt, they walk away and they're not really hesitant to do so. And I see exactly why. Now, the Queen of Swords, she is cutthroat. That is not to say that your person has more feminine energy or identifies as female. The Queen of Swords is just representative of a type of attitude and energy that we're trying to describe here within your reading. So the Queen of Swords shows very direct and blunt, honest type of energy. This person is not afraid to just say what they think, and they're very articulate. So they do it in a way that you don't even realize that, you know, maybe you've been left or insulted until it's already happened. Like, they're a very smart, eloquent, and intelligent type of person. And I see here that the person who is into you knows exactly how to wield that sword and use it to their advantage. And they do so when it comes to their career and business. Now, does this make them a bad person? Absolutely not. Group number 4, but it definitely makes them someone who is up for any challenge and who is able to outsmart competition. Next up, we've got the Sun. Now, the Sun shows us an air of leadership. It shows us this type of quality of being able to just enjoy the moment. That's one thing that we've got here within the Sun for you, group number 4. Furthermore, the Sun is also a symbol of willpower. So the person who is into you is someone who is not only positive, but also has a lot of willpower to do things in their life, to kind of step up to the plate, to not be afraid to put themselves out there. And in the Sun, furthermore, I definitely see that their life is going in a favorable direction. They're feeling a lot of vitality and also greatness in a sense. So this is a very, very confident person who's into you. Next up, we've got the Seven of Swords. So I see that the person who is into you, group number 4, is someone who kind of likes to just disengage if things aren't going in a way that they think is right. So by disengage, I mean if someone lies to this person, they will just walk away from the friendship. They're not even going to try to argue, figure out why or reason. They'll just walk away from the connection. If they're betrayed by someone, they don't really talk very much. That's when they just abandon the situation because they already know, okay, this is not for me. And if someone can do that once, they will do it again. Next up, we've got the Ten of Cups. Now, the Ten of Cups actually shows me here that the person who is into you is destined to have fulfillment on all levels, also romantically speaking. I mean, it could be with you, group number 4, who knows? I mean, we're just figuring out who's into you, not whether you will end up with them. But, you know, that's another topic for another video. But I do see here within the Ten of Cups that peace, fulfillment, happiness, a stable home and family life, that's one thing that we've got here for this person. And also just joy. joy, just having a good time. The Sun and the Ten of Cups, I mean, those are such favorable cards to show up within a reading, especially one that has to do with love, with creating a family and a home life. And I do see here that this person is destined to have that, and this person is definitely on the path towards that. And making smart decisions when it comes to whom they spend their time with, as we spoke about in the Eight of Cups and the Seven of Swords, this very savage side that your person has of simply leaving connections that are toxic, that really does help them establish themselves in a way that will get them to that healthy future. Next up, we've got Imum Coeli. So I do see here within Imum Coeli that they are the type of person who is firmly rooted in this type of process of testing whether a relationship works or not, and kind of weeding out all the candidates that don't work out. I also see here within your person that they may be a little bit conservative. They may have some roles that they want within a relationship. So if the person who is into you identifies as male, for example, they may want you to do typically female things if they are a straight male. So they may want you to do things like wear nice clothing, like be someone who has a little bit of domestic skills. So nothing extreme, but can maybe cook a nice meal, can maybe be an amazing hostess. So this is just to give you an example of what I mean by a little bit conservative. Now, they are open-minded. Don't get me wrong. Here in the Queen of Swords, they want people to live their best lives. They don't care about what anyone else does, but they do care about their own private life, and that's where they're rooted a little bit in tradition, and they have some values that they want to continue following through with in their own love life and within their own personal relationships. Next up, we've got the seventh house. We were just talking about their personal relationships, and the seventh house is actually the house that corresponds to partnerships, marriages, and relationships. This is the house of relationships, and it is actually connected to Libra. Now, why this is interesting is because the Queen of Swords is the queen of air signs. So that entails Libra, that entails Aquarius, and Gemini. Those are the three air signs of the zodiac. And now within the seventh house, we have a more specific pointer towards Libra, right? Because the seventh house astrologically corresponds by default to Libra. And Libra has its keywords in balancing things. Libra is the scale, right? Furthermore, Libra is also by default with the planet Venus. So I want you to know that Venus and Libra, they go together. And Venus as a planet is the planet of affection, of beauty, of aesthetics, of values, but also harmony. So it makes a lot of sense, the example that we spoke about with a little bit of a conservative or more traditional outlook in some ways, as your person has all of these influences that paints the picture of who they are. Now, again, they are very open-minded, but there are some things that they think is beautiful within their own personal life that they want to have within their relationship. Next up, we've got some Sagittarius energy. Now, this energy is expansive. This energy is fiery. This is a fire sign. And I definitely want you to know here within this Sagittarius energy that this person has a temperamental side to them as well. They are a mutable kind of person, which means they're changeable. They're also very resourceful. So if things go wrong and their back is against the wall, they will find a way to kind of float. They will find a way to still thrive and to still come out the other end, kind of rising like a phoenix from the ashes. I see here within the South Node that this all comes from experiences that they've had in their past. So this person who is into you may have had a very rough past where they had to defend themselves, where they had to take care of their own needs. So maybe they have been abandoned by parents or even teachers, for example, left to their own devices to figure out life. And I want you to know here within the South Node and Sagittarius that that actually made them a lot more strong, and it allowed them to be very much like convinced about their own personal power and unafraid to step into that, unafraid to be in a space that is unknown but still exude confidence. I want to add some crystal runes into your reading group number 4 so we can figure out more details about your person, shall we? And also letters of their name. Actually, I think Spirit wants us to start off with that. So we did talk about how they have Libra energy. Oh, okay, I have a rune that popped right out of the pile. It did fall outside of the frame. This is a blank rune. So here within a blank rune, their name may have special characters. That's one thing that I can see here within this blank rune, group number 4. Let's add one more rune into the mix. So what does Spirit have for us? We've got the letter C as an important letter within their name. So this is one thing that we have here when it comes to names and letters, but moving into some crystal runes, let's see what we've got. Okay, let's identify this rune for you, group number 4. So here within this rune, I believe we've got Nautis. So within Nautis, I can see that they're the type of person who has overcome a lot of delays in life. So maybe they were a very late bloomer. It took them time to really find themselves and who they are. So they have had a rough start to life, but you would not guess that from where they are now. So here within this rune, we've got Ansus. Ansus is the rune of communication, of truth and wisdom and insight, which makes a lot of sense here with the Queen of Swords, as they are someone who is a very clear communicator. They are very upfront and direct. We discussed this, group number 4, and they're unafraid to be real with you. And I think that is sometimes, in a sense, hard for some people to deal with whom they've been with before. So what else do we have? Let's identify this rune for you, group number 4. So within this rune, we've got Vunyo. Vunyo is a rune of joy, of success, and also pleasure. So I do see here that your person, the person who's into you, is enjoying a lot of personal success and pleasure in their life right now, which is also why they feel confident to start something new and to embark on more journeys, because what they have established so far has already gone well for them. So they're like ready to take the next step within their life. I want to move a little further into your reading so we can figure out more details about who's into you. So we've also got decluttering. So they're kind of a minimalist. They're kind of the type of person who isn't afraid to get rid of things. They don't have any unhealthy attachment towards material items and material things in general. So they're the type of person that likes a very clean space and a clean home. But I'd say that's a green flag, right? Group number 4. Next up, we've got the 10-90 ratio. So the person who is into you is a firm believer in the fact that 10% of life is what happens to you and 90% is how you react to it. And I do want you to know here within the 10-90 ratio that it is so essential for you to kind of find the balance for yourself of reactivity and also simply just deciding that you will go with peace. So when I go through difficult situations in life, this is what I've been doing. That's also what inspired this card of my Wild Muse Oracle deck that showed up for you, group number 4. I ask myself, is this really worth me getting upset over? Is this really worth me spending a lot of time and energy thinking about if I have to eventually deal with it anyways? Should I really stress out now? And usually the answer is no. Usually the answer is the fact that, yeah, life will happen and things will go wrong. They will go left and south and everywhere you don't want things to go. But at the end of the day, it's up to you whether you stress out or whether you simply take your personal power and matters into your own hands and remind yourself that you can still enjoy life without allowing any dark clouds to loom over all of the experiences that could have just been chill and amazing and good for you. So next up, we've got the Queen of Cups. Now, group number 4. In the Queen of Cups, I can see that the person who is into you is someone who has a strong relationship with a motherly figure in their life. That could be their biological mother. It could also be a grandmother, for example. They are very connected to strong feminine women, and they celebrate femininity. They celebrate feminine women who are outspoken and who aren't afraid to stand up for themselves. And I see here within the Hierophant that this comes from a place of, again, being in a sense conservative, but also progressive. So this person is of the mind that everyone should be able to express themselves and lead a fulfilling life. And they have this strong sense of ideology when it comes to it. So while this may seem like a strong opinion that's trying to shape others, actually, the person who's into you has a very strong opinion about others being able to be free and to be whoever they want to be. That's what I see here within the Hierophant in connectivity to the person who is into you. Furthermore, within the Hierophant, I do also see here that they are very interested in like religious systems and religious beliefs, for example. They are very interested in different types of education that one can pursue. And I do see here that they are someone who is very well educated themselves and who is just like a student for life. I want to add in a little bit of numerology for you, group number 4, just towards the end of your reading. I hope that you've been enjoying it so far. So we've got the number 5 as well as the number 7. The Hierophant already corresponds to the number 5. Within 5 and 7, I do see here that they're someone who is competitive. That's what I see with the person who's into you. So if they're into you, they're going to fight for you and they're going to fight for the connection. And within 7, I can see that they're actually like an introvert. So they're not the type of person who likes to be in huge crowds. That kind of drains their energy. They don't mind going out every now and then, but they're not going to subject themselves to too many crowds or too many scenarios in which they have to talk to other people or deal with other people. So group number 4, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Make sure that you leave a little rainbow emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it all the way to the end, that you enjoyed your reading and that you found it fun and insightful. So wherever you are in this world, know that I'm sending you so much love, so much support. My only goal with my channel is to have you feeling supported and really good about yourself every time you move on from one of my videos, and I hope that I was able to accomplish that and have a little bit of fun with you here, group number 4. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here and that's a feeling you'd like to feel again, and I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions.